Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, a package got delivered up here to the office.
Cool. I will go there after this meeting. Thank you. Cool. So I might wait like maybe a minute or two in case people are just joining. Yes. Okay.
So I take it Mega Camp got turned virtual?
Yeah. I'm wondering about next year still, like, for family reunion too. But I have a feeling that is. I
Oh,
mean,
hell, I hope this shit ain't still going on a year from now.
I bet it would be. Well, like you'll
Good
see
God.
after effects probably, you know what I mean? It's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell at this point, like anything at all.
Yeah. So is it just me and you on the class?
No, there's other people here. They're just muted. There's 7 people here. I'm gonna wait like one more minute and then I'll just get started.
Okay, I'm gonna go offline. Go mute.
Okay, thank you. One sec. Okay, so I'm just gonna get started in case if anybody has any questions or people join late, that's fine. I'm also recording this in case anybody wants the recording. I'll post it in our group Facebook where all of our 3 offices are, as well as send it to your MCAs who can do the same for your brokerage groups too, if you have like private Facebook groups of your own. Very cool. Welcome, everybody. My name is Renee. I work at the San Jose Gateway office as the operations manager / market center administrator. I wanted to go over opportunities today in command. So I'll just get started. So first, creating an opportunity. So essentially we use opportunities as a system to track current and potential transactions within command. So each opportunity starts at a beginning phase called the cultivate phase. So here you can track the opportunity before you even have a set appointment with them. So you'll still be able then to kind of carry them through the pipeline as the transaction moves on, and from start to finish. So from cultivate all the way to the close phase. The applet, the opportunities applet in command allows you to track everything involved with the transaction. So that includes activity checklists, offer management, and potential commission income and compliance. Customize your opportunity pipeline. So again, opportunities is the way that we track our current and potential transactions. Some people use dot loop. Some people use, let's say, transaction point. But this ultimately is kind of supposed to replace all of these other options so that everything is within reach and at your hands. It also gives you the ability to customize your pipelines for your opportunities. So you can then create and track your transactions in a way that makes sense for you and for your business. So opportunities, we're going to talk about phases and stages. So the main dashboard will show you a high level view of your whole business, including the number of opportunities per phase and the volume for each. So also probable commission based on where they're at in the transaction process. And they will also give you insights into your overall opportunities activity. So the system is broken up into 3 individual pipelines. So listings, buyers, leases, and each individual pipeline also then breaks down the transaction process into 5 phases. So cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and closed. The phases are standard, you can't edit them, but within each of the phases, you can edit the stages. So you can create as many as you want. For example, in cultivate, for example, I need to add a task that says something like create a listing or a buyer presentation packet, or send comps to them, and then for the appointment, similar. Active, then you'd want to talk about like starting staging and that kind of a thing, etc. So you can essentially customize the stages of the phases so they fit the process that you do transactions. By default, they do add you a couple just to get you started, but you can click on each phase and see the stages that have been set up for them already. Editing your stages. So the first step is to look at your business and define each stage of the transaction. So they also mentioned that one thing to keep in mind is a stage is not a task. So the stage is a period of time in that transaction process that might have multiple tasks or outcomes that will need to happen before you can move forward. Command is still kind of working on early stages of development, but labs team is working on getting smart plans connected so that you'll be able to associate multiple workflows to every stage, and then you can automate a lot of the tasks moving forward. So customize your opportunity pipeline. So once you have your pipeline planned out, then you can edit your stages. So you'll click on the stage, edit the stage, and you'll be able to see a list view of all of your stages and a probability for each. So walking you through kind of how to add a new stage button. You can edit it, you can delete it. You can also click and drag any of the stages to organize or reorganize the process. Probability, they say, so when you edit or add a new stage, essentially it's going to represent the probability that the opportunity is going to go all the way through the pipeline from start to close. So for example, if you're in the scheduled stage of the appointment phase, and you know that maybe 1 out of 10 of the appointments that you usually schedule do actually continue and go all the way through to close and you get paid, then add 10% to that. Within opportunities, you'll see a commission total for each individual pipeline and stage. And they take the volume of the listing you attach to each opportunity and see what stage it's in, and basically evaluate the probability associated with that stage that it will continue to the end. And then they calculate the volume against the probability percentage. So long kind of explanation, but it's just essentially trying to see that what your probability is that each of your stages will follow all the way through to fruition. Creating and managing custom tags. Actually, yes, cool. So everybody organizes their databases and their pipelines in different ways. So because of this reason, you have the ability to create custom tags. So if there's a label or a group that usually is standard to your business, you can actually add it as a custom tag, and then you can apply it to contacts or the opportunities themselves. So then you'll be able to organize your database and your pipeline in any way that you want to. The tags you create for contacts and opportunities are kept separate, so you can see which tags are set up for each applet individually. And as you start creating these custom tags, it would help to maybe edit the name of the tag, delete the tags, color code them, things like that, so you can keep track. So accessing custom tag settings, if you go into command, actually I'm wondering, would you guys benefit more if I were to show you like while using command kind of? Okay, cool. I'm gonna see if I can you double share a screen? Probably not. Okay, wait a sec. I'll stop this share. And then I'm going to open. opportunity. Excuse me. Okay, I need to share this screen. Cool. So in here, I'm going to log in to my command. And as it loads, so if I go to, sorry, my chat box is open on the side. If you go to click on your portrait in the top right-hand side, and you click on settings, then you will be able to, then you click on command settings. So command settings, and you're going to be talking about right here, for example, if I wanted to set it up for my contacts, then I could say custom tags or opportunity settings, which would let me then do like for your agent sites, you can have other things, or for your import logs, things like that. So here, this is where you would set up the settings. Okay. Next. Okay, so managing your opportunities. Once you've actually created an opportunity, you can actually move it through the pipeline. You add more info, you attach a listing, for example. Eventually, you'll close the opportunity, or if it, for some reason, the deal falls through, or whatever happens, you're able then to mark it as a lost opportunity in command also. So once you start creating the opportunity, you'll have two ways to access them. You can either go through contacts, where you click on the contact of the person that you're doing the transaction with. You'll be able to see an opportunities tab within their contact profile, and then you can view the details that way. Or you can use the little hand holding applet, which is the opportunities applet. And that will just take you basically to the main dashboard, where you can click in any phase that you want to see what opportunities you have and what stages they're in too. So as you move through as you move the opportunity through the pipeline, you are able to move and drag the certain opportunity through phases. So for example, from active to under contract, things like that. If you need to add information, then you click the little pencil that's usually next to any of the icons, and then you can edit the general info about it too. To attach a listing also, for example, on the listing side, when you get to the stage where you've taken the listing, you will probably have added it to MLS hopefully already, and then you can select that listing in the details of the opportunity. So once the listing pulls it into command, then you'll be able to find it. On the buy side, you'll do this also once you get to the offer stage. So you can also click like select from KWLS, the button, and this will allow you then to attach the listing to the offer that you're creating. Closing opportunities. So once you've moved the opportunity totally through to the closed phase, that's essentially signifying that you have completed the transaction. So you can find details for all of the transactions that have already been paid out. If you look at the closed phase of your opportunities, and the closed ones will only show in your pipeline for 30 days, but you can always click on all opportunities to search them later, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second. Lost opportunities, like I said, if the deal falls through for whatever reason, then you can basically mark it as a lost opportunity, and that will allow you to close out the transaction, and it will add the lost opportunity to your metrics. So eventually it'll give you insight into where you can work to improve your closing rates. Again, depending on what the reason for the deal not going through would be. And if you make mistakes, for example, or you just do test opportunities, you can actually archive the opportunities so it doesn't affect your insights. When you view them all in any given phase, there's 3 dots. on them, and you can choose to archive them. So you can't archive an opportunity that's under contract or closed. You have to actually move the opportunity through the pipeline to the cultivate, appointment, active phases, and that'll allow you to see the the option to archive it. But once you archive an opportunity, you can actually still restore it back to your pipeline too. Opportunity details. So all the things that are included, for example, your market center, your team, opportunity type. So you would choose what type is it, the transaction. If there's an owner, for example, if you have teams, who's the client, obviously, co-seller, the opportunity name, it fills it by default with something, but you can actually edit that too, and name it whatever you want, by the address, by the client themselves, the last name. It's however you want to keep track of all of your business. Custom tags, again, you can add searchable terms to the opportunity, and then you'd be able to go and find it and manage it later for yourself. There's a settings page again where I showed you that you can kind of create tags of your own accord and then name them as you want. Estimated closing date, so you'll select the expected closing date, the estimated listing price, the commission rate also, opportunity phase and the stage, so you can customize your workflow in the system to fit your business. So you want to choose the phase and the stage where you want to start this new opportunity. And again, assigning for teams, you can assign members of your team to the opportunity, but a lot of us are individuals or people are working on transactions themselves and things like that. So like I have not been using a ton of the team options yet, but it's always a possibility. Editing the details. So if you click on the icon, the opportunities icon, then you can click on the phase itself and the title. So once you're actually inside of it, you can click the edit button, and any of the sections you can edit the details, and just make sure you always press save at the end. And so there's different sections of the opportunity too. So the general info is basically the main details of any of the opportunities. So that'll have info related to the type of opportunity you're working with. So for example, you can again create or apply any custom tags, add co-buyers, co-sellers, make sure you're logging dates for specific milestones within the transaction. This also helps with like reporting and goal tracking if you're kind of on track with that. You can add estimated listing price or budget for the transaction. You can adjust your commission rate too. The property section, so you'll attach a listing to the opportunity when the time comes. For listing opportunities, you can click select from KWLS. And for buyer opportunities, you can attach the listing to each offer that you create. Once you attach it or accept an offer with a listing attached, you can then edit the property section. So then you can edit any of the details that were pulled in when you syndicate it. And my plan is to kind of show you guys a demo of an opportunity creating like from start to finish, and it'll show all of these things that I'm talking about. The seller worksheet also is mainly only for listing opportunities. So it'll allow you to give your seller more information, financial information that they can access when they're trying to compare offers. So commission percentages, seller closing costs, mortgage balances, prorated taxes, prorated HOA dues, things like that. Manage checklists. So once you customize your opportunity pipelines and you've made your templates, your checklist templates, which I'll show you also, sorry, you can then start using the system to track your opportunities. So as you're working, make sure you're marking the checklist items as complete or make due dates for certain checklist items. You can create one-off checklists that wouldn't apply to maybe other opportunities, but might be for a specific opportunity that you have managing. So to access it, you would again go into opportunities, click on the phase, find the opportunity you want to manage, click update, and next to the checklist icon, you click on the opportunity card, and you can mark that as complete. And again, add or edit one-off checklist items. So you still have the ability then to add items and add one-off checklist items. If you want to edit anything, there's 3 dots that are at the right of the item, and you can choose and edit from the drop-down menu. Editing checklist. So what's nice about opportunities is it allows you basically to track methodically and manage your current and your future transactions. So a big piece of this is making sure that you track all the tasks you have to complete also within every stage of the process. So as you're going through it, you might need to adjust your pipeline checklist also based on what you're seeing. This again is going to walk you through the process of editing the checklist, and we'll go over this again too. So add a listing to an opportunity. So again, opportunities is a tool basically that we use to track current and potential deals within Command. So if you're creating a listing opportunity, you can attach your listing from KWLS, or once you get to the stage where you've taken the listing already, then you can add the listing to the MLS. And after the listing pulls into Command, you can add the listing to the opportunity. This will walk you through add a listing or remove or edit one. Creating an offer. So there's an entire offer management system within opportunities that KW has created. So once you enter an offer into the system, you can create offer comparisons too that you can share with your clients also. And you can use that data too to help improve future offers through your reports and your insights that will come about. This will walk you through creating an offer. I'm actually going to go over all this stuff with you too, and I'm happy to like share my slides also. Managing offers. So once you enter the offer, you can actually edit the information, add negotiations. Ultimately, you accept or reject the offer. So once you've accepted the offer, everything that you have entered already will autofill into the details in the commissions pages of the opportunity. And again, I'll go over all this stuff too. If you're sharing offers, especially if you have multiple offers, you can actually manage these all by editing, comparing, sharing, and ultimately you're going to need to accept or reject these offers. So this again will walk you through that, and you can download and you can email offer comparisons too. So you could even share that with your client or share it with yourself too. To download offer comparison. So when you enter offers into Command, you can again create comparisons that you can share with your clients or download the comparison sheets for yourself. This again will walk you through how to do that. Get started with compliance. So the main thing is essentially the settings and compliance in Command. So team settings, again, if you're on a team, make sure that your rainmaker, who's your leader, is familiar with this process as well, because the rainmakers have the ability essentially to turn off their agents' personal pipelines, and you can make sure that opportunities fall under the sphere of the entire team. But again, you'll want to definitely speak to your rainmaker about things like this. Transition to command compliance. So in the past, I know a lot of market centers have used either dot loop or things like that. Our office at least has already transitioned to using command for compliance and commissions. Even if you're going to use dot loop, or if you want to use, let's say, DocuSign just for document management or to get signatures, you still have to start managing the document compliance in Command. So because of this, there's an easy process actually within Command that lets you import anything active you have maybe in dot loop loops into your Command, but as opportunities. So once they get imported, you can use any type of system you want to manage the document to get signatures, but essentially you're gonna submit the commissions through Command. So document management, again, so there's a connection between KW and DocuSign. So if you do have a DocuSign account already that is not through like a Keller Williams email address, I would either pause that or just download all that information, because you essentially are given access to a free DocuSign account through your Keller Williams email address. So make sure if you don't already have that set up, then that you do so that, I mean, that's an expense that you don't really have to be paying for, because technically it's there for you to use for free. DocuSign, again, is just, these are the different options within compliance. So you can connect your accounts, create DocuSign rooms for you and opportunities. Zip forms integration will come into play there. Dotloop, again, you would have to connect your Dotloop account within Command so that you can move everything over, import it. Compliance management, so once you have signed completed forms, basically, you'll then upload them into Command and submit them to your Market Center. And this will walk you through also how to manage your compliance, but we'll go over all this stuff too. So how to utilize compliance folder messaging. So there's an option within Command that you can use to send messages mainly about the compliance for opportunities. So you can reach out to your MCA, compliance coordinators, team members that are also assigned to a specific opportunity, leave notes, send messages, reply to messages, things like that too. Adding compliance documents to an opportunity. So whether, again, you're using DocuSign, Dotloop, any other process that manages your forms to get signatures, you will use Command to add and submit the documents to your Market Center for final approval. This will walk you through it too, but you can actually add multiple files at once, or you can add individual files to the to the opportunity. If you want to, again, add a single document, this will walk you through that. Once you submit your checklist though, you can't remove the document. You can only replace it with another version. So it's already logged in the Command compliance history for the opportunity. So there'll forever be like an archived track of everything that you have ever submitted to the opportunity. Submit compliance documents to your Market Center. So again, in the future, all of the document compliance is going to be handled within opportunities. So once you finish adding everything required for your opportunity compliance event, so for example, under listed, what's required there, under contract, the specific documents that are required in each stage. Then you submit each one to your MCA or your compliance coordinator, who then will have the opportunity to review and approve or reject the forms that you've submitted. If you get an approval, then it'll say like a little green approval status next to whatever document you submitted. If it gets rejected, there's a little red rejected button next to it. If you hover over it with your mouse, it'll actually tell you why, and you can make the necessary changes that you need to and replace it so that you can then resubmit it with a version that will be accepted. Submitting commission. So this is a big one that I have encountered with a couple of people. Within Command, there is no green sheets. We also don't use green sheets at all at my office, but I am aware that some people still do. Some people still like DocuSign or Dotloop and things like that. So whatever you use is fine, but just you're going to have to eventually incorporate it into a Command opportunity. So just be aware of that. But Command, essentially, the commission section in the opportunity is taking the place of green sheet. So that's where you're going to say, for example, detail the commission disbursement for the transaction, and that's what you'll submit to your Market Center to approve or reject. And that is how, for example, I would be able to see that you have submitted commissions for your opportunity, and then I'll see and create a demand from that to send to you. Once you submit the commission request for the opportunity, you are no longer able to make certain edits. So that would be the listing information, contract date, close date, commission rates also. So you'll also not be able to change your response on the accepted offer. So that offer is now locked into that opportunity. So if you need to make any of the changes after you've already submitted your commission request and it's been accepted, or you've already submitted it, just make sure you reach out to your MCA and see if they can return the request, which then you can make the required edits that you needed and resubmit it for review. And just make sure that in your opportunities, once you go to click on commissions within there, you must have an accepted offer for the opportunity before you can access the commissions tab. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. So the details of the commission. So the commission page autofills, excuse me, with all of the data you've entered into the offer. At the top, you can make last minute adjustments to the sales price, commission percentage, contact date. You can actually add co-broker payments if you have referral deals. Agent breakdown is another piece of this. So if you need, excuse me, to add an agent split, you can enable this functionality here. So you adjust the total commission amount and the unit amount. So they're not linked, so you can distribute those however you want. Once you adjust the primary agent unit and the totals, then you can add a secondary person. So once you do that, then you again click plus add agent. So in the add agent forum, you start typing the agent name. There's a drop down menu that'll come up and you can choose that agent. And then you'd be able then to distribute the units and the commission totals to the secondary person. So however many agents are on a transaction, let's say, you can just repeat this process over and over again to distribute units and commission. And as you add secondary agents, you have to make sure the unit totals equal 1 and the commission totals add up to what's shown in the pricing details section at the top of the page, or it's not going to let you. And I'll go over this again. Deductions, concessions, bonuses, referrals. So everybody has different financial breakdown details in this section. There's a deduction section. So here's where you can donate to KW Cares, KW Kids Can, Bold Scholarship Fund, whatever you choose. If there's anything else that you need to deduct from the total, for example, a transaction coordinator, then you click add item, and then you'd be able to then add that second deduction. In the add item form, there are different types of deductions that they allow you. So for example, E&O fees. This isn't an option usually when you add an item, but there will always be a field that will show above KW Cares that will, again, show you the fee. Not every market center collects this through closing, so you might have to keep that at 0. Talk to your MCA to be sure about that stuff. Outside referrals, so if you're sending a referral to another broker, it's leaving your brokerage and essentially you're paying for a lead. So you would use this in the case when you need to pay, again, out a referral fee to another brokerage. Inside referral, so a portion of the commission that is going to be sent to an agent inside of your market center. So as an agent, I want to send a referral fee to another agent that works with me inside of my market center. That would be an inside referral. Deductions, so debits essentially. These are payments that you incur expenses by the agent. So they're paid from your net commission by the market center. So for example, as an agent, I contract with a TC for, let's say I pay Lindsay Morgan at Campbell, I pay her $425 for a buy side deal. You can add her again as an item, transaction coordinator, deduction, and specify the amount that she'll be getting, and that then we would be able to give them a check directly versus it coming out of your final check. Bonuses, so credits. So these are additional fixed amounts that are added to your standard commission amount, normally to incentivize offers in a certain time frame. So for example, a home builder might want to pay X% commission, but when close to selling out, a subdivision may offer an additional amount if a contract is assigned by a certain date. So you'll get a credit for that. That's how you would do bonuses. Concession, so an amount of the commission that is generally owed to the agent but waived in order to get the deal to close. So for example, an agent could waive a portion of the commission that they would receive to pay for a home warranty for their buyers. It's just a tracking mechanism. Not everybody uses it, but it does, I've seen help if people are kind of questionable about transactions. So things like that. But again, once you select the type and you do these add items, just click add when finished. Adding notes and submit commissions. This will be the final step. So before you submit, again, you can click plus add note on the top, on the right side of the page, and you can leave notes for your MCA, compliance coordinators, transaction coordinators. They'll be able to see these notes as if they're reviewing the commission themselves. Once your unit and totals are balanced out, then, and every agent's deductions have been entered, then you submit it. And that will then notify the, the market center, the MCA or the administrator that you have or compliance coordinator. This then will show me, for example, that you've submitted a commissions request, and now I would basically have to go review it, accept it or reject it, depending on how you're breaking down your commissions and units and stuff. But that then is what I would build the demand off of, that I would send to you. If your request is returned, usually they'll leave a reason for the rejection. So just make sure again that you hover over the reason as to why and fix any mistakes and resubmit. Oh, good. Okay, cool. So helpful links and resources. These are super helpful links. Command Your Business through KW Connect is basically, it can take you through every single command applet, piece of command, training, video or written, but that'll allow you to go through each applet too. So that's a good resource. KW Answers, this is like my favorite resource ever, because it will allow you to access resources that for anything, not just command, but let's say opportunities or contacts or things that are totally outside of command. But that's a really good site to have in general. Command support opportunities. Again, this is a KW Answers piece where it's talking about, again, command support, and we're talking about opportunities. So this right here will essentially walk you through basically everything that I've touched on today and more. There's definitely more stuff that you're able to do with this, but these 3 sites, bookmark them and definitely keep them around. Cool. So I'm going to do a sample transaction that I can walk you guys through, because I know I talk a lot, but we're gonna walk through one. So let's see. Let me just share my screen. Share screen. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my little home page, and then we're going to essentially go through an opportunity from start to close. So here I will go to these little hands, opportunities. And again, make sure that you have added the contact that you're doing a transaction with to your command account contacts, or you won't be able to make an opportunity at all. Like, you can't associate it with them if they don't exist already. So make sure that's like step number 1, is make sure you import all of your contacts. Excuse me. My computer is so slow. Okay, so here I clicked on opportunities. This is my opportunities dashboard, essentially. So here's where I could see, for example, here are my stages, my phases, cultivate for listings, for example, cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, closed, buyers, same thing, leases, same thing. And it's going to tell me here my gross commission income, so potential income or probable. So, and again, this all this info will edit itself on its own based on the information you're inputting into the opportunity. I think it's gonna load again. I think this is gonna bother me. Okay, cool. So let's pretend I am going to create an opportunity. So here again is where I would choose my market center. If I had a team, that would be an option here. The type, oh my God, sorry. Start over. So create opportunity type. So listing, buyer, landlord, tenant. We're gonna pretend this is a listing. I am the owner of this opportunity again, but if you had a team, let's say, you could delegate. You're my client. I'm going to use, I don't think I made myself. I also recommend adding yourself as a contact to your own database so that you can set yourself up on smart plans. You can send yourself things. It really gives you a way to see what you're sending out, what it looks like, and you can edit it based on that too, if you test it on yourself. So let's say, I'm going to use Nouri, for example, because Nairi's on this call. So Nairi's in my contacts. She is going to be my client. If we had a co-seller, if I typed them, start typing their name and they existed in my contacts, they would come up and I could select them. The opportunity name, so again, this is editable. So it's going to have my client's name and listing. If you want to change that, you can add the address. You can just you can erase this. You could say listing at wherever, totally your choice. Custom tags, again, if I had added more, then again, my drop-down menu would show more options. Right now they do like pre-filled ones. So it's a listing, your custom tag was pre-filled as seller. So let's pretend I'm gonna tag her as a seller. My estimated close date, I'm gonna say June 30. My estimated list price, what, $8.50. My commission rate, so let's say she's gonna give me 2.5%. The opportunity phase, again, cultivate. Where are you at with them in this stage? So right now, I'm gonna say this is an active phase because we're already going to accept an offer. We've already shown the house. We're ready. So, and the stage here is when I can show, or excuse me, customize the stage based on the phase that I've selected. So active. So here, staging, showing, negotiations, legacy. So right now I'm in the, I can say showing, I'm in negotiating. So I'll create this. So here is now my opportunity dashboard for my listing with Nouri, let's say. It's gonna have an opportunity ID number that's associated with anything new. Any new opportunity you create is gonna have an ID number. And this will be helpful if you use TCs, for example. They can search for your opportunities using these ID numbers. General info, it'll show me everything that it was asking me. So custom tags, owner, what phase are you in? What stage are you in? Who's the contact? If I had a co-seller, they'd be here. My time frame would basically, I can edit that stuff, but I can even edit this information, add dates to, like, what date was my appointment? What date did we go into contract? Things like that. Estimated list price again, commission rate, and it's showing me, since this is my estimated listing price, $850, based on the 2.5, essentially I'm going to expect to get $21,250. And then here, this little pencil would let me actually, again, edit any of these pieces in here. So commission rate, agreement one, let's say she agreed to sell with me, on the 14th. And then our contract, I'm going to write it today. And then again, I'm not going to do my close date yet because I already have an estimated closing date. That's fine. And again, this stuff, you don't have to put these. Anything with their asterisk is required. So this little red guy. But let's say save. So now, once it's been updated, then I can see in here, for example, here's my agreement one, my contract date, stuff like that. In the property information, if you click the little pencil, again, if I already have a listing that is on MLS, then I can say, I'm going to look for it. So let's pretend I'm going to sell my office, Great Oaks Boulevard. And then already, since it found it for me, it's going to populate this info. I can edit this, obviously. Santa Clara County, sure. San Jose, that's my zip code. Save. So here now I have a property associated with this opportunity. Seller worksheet, again, this is up to you, but you're able to kind of balance this out and show the net on your offer comparisons using this tool. And description too, so I can add notes to myself or to, let's say, my compliance coordinator or my MCA or my teammate who is also going to review these opportunities, and maybe say something like, I don't know, it's very different per person, but like description, for example, I met this person at this open house or something, or, you know, I told this seller that I would pay for the home inspection, things like that. So then here, seller profile is gonna, again, I haven't really messed with this too much, but it'll show me like, is my seller associated with my consumer app yet? So no, they're not registered. So this is an opportunity for me to then send her my app, my consumer app. A guide, so you can also build guides within your app and add them to promote your app smart plans, make them get connected with you essentially, and you can edit your guides too in here. Documents, so this is the main place where it all takes place. Up here to the right, it will show me my tasks or checklist, excuse me. So here I'd be able to see, again, where am I at, showing in the active. I don't have a checklist yet, but I can add things. So for example, we're actively showing. So I have an open house. I don't know, what day is it? Today's the 15th. Let's see the 20th, 20 or 6, 21. So I'll save this. Or so let's say, pretend I wasn't all the way here in staging. I would be in scheduling or something. Then I could add, for example, inspections, or like property inspection or home inspection, or showing people the house, since now, again, everything is kind of like by appointment only. So you could do that kind of stuff. But here's where you can edit your checklists for stages. And then I could click view opportunity details and it'll take me back to my main dashboard. But within documents, again, right here, the status, oops, excuse me, you have to pick the checklist type first. So again, I am helping her sell her house. I'm going to say it's a residential standard. So here it's automatically going to auto-populate with things required from me that I have to upload to then submit here to my market center to review. For example, if you got a deal signed, I believe you have to upload it within 24 to 48 hours max from the day it got signed. So here here's my listing agreement. And right here, you can add files manually. You can have connected folders, but let's say I'm gonna look in my own files. I saved it on my desktop, for example. I could click it, upload it, assign it here, and then it would show up here that I have submitted something. And then right here, it'll show like not uploaded, the status of these documents, and what is required, for example, conditionally required. Some things say optional, it really depends, but the majority, whatever's required, you should have. And then under contract is my next phase, where again, 0 out of 34 documents. I'm not gonna have all of the 34 documents, but again, I can add items that don't exist. So for example, addendums or addenda, excuse me, or contingency removals, things like that. I can add comments to stuff too. So if I have a comment about, you know, my W-9, I can add the file and like add a comment. You can attach multiple files here too. And just make sure if you're uploading it, you add the file, and submit to MC will allow, it will notify either your MCA or your compliance coordinator that you have uploaded something to look at, to review. So for example, it's gonna have all these things. So optional, buyer inspector elections, required, proof of funds, optional, the pre-approval letter for your buyer, contingency removals, for example, the commission demand that I create for my associates, I will upload it here so that they can go back and look at it again. But it'll tell you exactly like what's required, what's conditionally required, what's optional, and it will fix these things based on, again, the type of transaction that you're doing. So then close, for example, closing statement and checks. I actually upload these once I receive the closing commission packages, statements, checks. I will copy all of them and upload everything so you'd be able to have a history essentially to look at. Seller FERPTA, VPN, final walkthrough is required, add a file, again, upload it. If you don't have things that fit into, let's say, listed, under contract, or closed, you can add custom folders too and upload documents into that, which you can also submit. So things that maybe don't fall in these categories, or like HOA documents, and I have all of these things from HOAs, and I'm going to add a custom folder and say, let's say, HOA documents, and that'll create a new little folder for me. So if I click inside, I can then add documents too. So I'd be able to share this stuff with my TC, my compliance coordinator, my MCA also. Here, so once I have already uploaded documents, I'd be able to say, okay, start my transaction. And that will then allow me to make an offer. We'll see, yeah, I can't make an offer unless I have a thing. So let's say, I don't know, I had somewhere, let's pretend I'm under contract, and here's my, let's pretend my DA for this. So here it's going to say, this will be blue, wherever I put it. So under contract, open, meaning I have put something in there now. So here's where I'd have to click submit to MC, or it won't show me as the MCA that you have submitted something. So even if you upload stuff, I'm not going to see it until you submit it. So always make sure to do that too, anything you're adding. And here again, I could look at my demand and see it. For example, it'll show me a version history, the details. Here's my DA to look at. And I could download it, I could print it, I could do stuff with it. Offers, so now I'm allowed to make an offer. I can add a new offer. Let's say this is my initial one. And I will be able now to say, let's say my version name, initial offer, test 1, offer dates today. We're going to close, I think I said June 30. And then we're going to add my parties. So who's the buyer? I don't believe they have to be in, they wouldn't be a contact in your profile unless you add them. So let's say, oh my God, KW Gateway is the buyer. I can add their email and stuff, but essentially what I'm worried about is my client, so the seller. Who's their representation? Who is their agent? Their associate, let's say Rob Ross, who I know is Campbell team leader. Then I'm going to talk about the terms. So here I'd be able again to say how much money are they putting cash down, how much is a loan, and what's the sales price then, earnest amount, percentage, option fees. Buyer is going to give notice of termination within, let's say, 2 or 7 days of the contract. The seller is going to contribute however much money to the residential service or to settlement costs. So for example, the seller is going to pay for the home inspection for $450. And then I'm going to go to the agent analysis. It's mad at me. Oh, okay. Well, my sales price, I haven't added anything like this. I'm going to put, let's say, $100 down. And the rest I'm going to finance, but whatever. And then now I can say analysis. Here's, I can write pros and cons of the agents, summary, save. So here I have created an offer now. And again, I can either accept or reject this. I can, again, add negotiations, edit the offer, add analysis, send it to my client to look at. I can take it away. But this too, if you get multiple offers, you can add them all here and accept or reject them. But here it's going to show all the stuff that I was entering. So then from here, I'd be able to, you have to accept or reject, like you have to accept the offer for you to be able to access the commissions. So again, you can only view the commissions after you've accepted it. So sure, I like this one. I'm going to accept it now. So here I can access commissions now. Somehow. Come on. It's mad at me. Let's see, documents, commissions. I don't know why it won't open for me. Oh yeah, okay. So here I'm in commissions now. On the right-hand side, it's going to give me a summary based on all the info I put here. So my sales price, again, was 800 or 850. And I'm getting 2.5% of that. Here's my, I know it's mad at me. That's my cut, 1 unit. The contract date again was today. We're closing the 30th. If I had somebody else, I could add a co-broker. The breakdown, it's going to show me again. So 1 unit, my total commission, I don't know why it says 250. That's funny. But this amount, the total commission would have to equal the 21,250, or you're going to have problems. 21,250. So here now I can then go through this. Here's a payment breakdown. My gross commission. Do I pay royalty? Which you probably do unless you've capped on it. So 6%. It's going to show me I'm going to pay KW for my royalty this amount. Company commission. So company dollar, 70/30, whatever your agreement is, it's going to take whatever it is. So again, I'm 70/30, let's say. 30% I'm going to give to KW. I haven't capped yet, so they're going to take that. Deductions, again, E&O we do separate, but you could add that if your market center does that. KW Cares, I like to donate, let's say $5. And again, I can add an item, for example, bonus, concession, deduction, inside or outside referrals. Let's say I used a TC. So my deduction, I paid Lindsay $425. No, sorry, $450. I would have to get a W-9 for whoever I'm paying. So if I have her W-9, let's say I'm going to use her social security or her tax ID, description, CC fee, paid to, her name is Lindsay Morgan. I'm going to pretend is at Campbell, 210 South Bascom. Her phone number, let's pretend 626. And then you can put her email here too. So add. So here now I have a TC fee that has been added, and I can see now my check amount, I can expect $13,145. Here on the right-hand side, again, it's going to show me the breakdown, the summary. So pay to the agents. If I added extra people, they'd be on here too. How much am I paying to the office total? Other deductions, my TC, for example, $450. So this now I would have to say submit. And now as me as the market center administrator would be able to get a notification, let's say I have this tab like Command MC that, no, obviously you wouldn't have it, but if I go to opportunities, I can see all of my agents and their opportunities. And I will be able to see right here, commission request, there's one now, and here it is. So I have to go through, review this, look over the commissions. If I know you, obviously I would know things like, you know, like how much you owe, or I know the TCs, splits, sure, this all looks good, let's say. I could approve it or I could return it. So depending on if I'm like, sure, this is good, I'm gonna click approve, and that would then or notify you that I have accepted your submitted opportunity. So I know I talk a lot, but do you guys have any questions at all? I'm gonna stop the share for now.
Hey, good job. Very good job.
Thank you. I know
So
it's
basically, it's a checklist. You can set up, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do.
I figure, well, for me at least, it's easier to kind of see it all laid out, but I'm a visual person. I like checklists and stuff like that. Some people prefer other ways to manage, but it just depends on how you do your business. But until, again, you have to just make sure that you're saving stuff. If you're uploading things, always submit them for review, or the compliance coordinator, the TC, or whoever you're using, whoever's at your office will not be able to see what you're doing unless you submit it. So just always be aware, like, unless I submitted my commissions, even though I did the whole balance sheet, let's say, I didn't submit it, so I, as the MCA, would not see it. So I can't make a demand for you if I don't see your offer. But yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know. I will share this video with your MCAs also, and I'll put it in our 3 office Facebook group too, the closed one. But feel free to ask me any questions anytime also. I'm going to put my name and info. 925. This is my information. If you guys have any questions at all ever, please let me know. You can text me, email me, call me. I do know the majority of you guys, but always want to know you guys and talk and help however I can. So thank you for attending. And yeah.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you. Hi, Rob. I miss you.
I miss you too, Renee, very much.
I was like, oh, I saw in the chat box. I was like, Rob was here.
I see you around on the Zoom calls.
Yeah, I know. There you go. I know. And this is like the most interactive I've been. So
Yeah, no, this is really good. Thanks for all your help.
yeah, of course. And if
Presentation.
you guys, again, have any questions, let me know. But thank you for taking the time to attend.